So this is going to be my Project 20 pan finale. I started this in mid-October, I believe. I will link the original video that started this whole thing off down below in the description box in case you are a new subscriber and you've never seen one of these videos before. Essentially, what I've done is I've picked out 20 items. Well, I really picked out 21, but I picked out some items that I wanted to use up by a certain point of time. Originally, the end date was supposed to be December 31st of 2014, but I did extend the end date for a couple more weeks just so I could finish up a couple more products, and I will go ahead and show you the last item that I finished up since my last update. So this is the NARS Jungle Red lipstick from NARS. Now this is a semi-matte formula and they are $26 either on the NARS website or at a NARS counter or in Sephora. And it is just a really beautiful true red. I finally finished that guy up. There is a swatch of it right there. Absolutely gorgeous shade. I love this lipstick. It was my first high-end lipstick. These do retail for $26, and what I do that's a little bit different than regular project pans that you might have watched, I go through and I add up each item and I give you a grand total at the end of how much I've used up until that point. So at the last update, I had used up $328.75 worth of items so far. Now, including this lipstick, I have used up $354.75, which I think is just absolutely phenomenal. I've gotten my money's worth out of those items, and I'm happy about it. So, technically, I was supposed to finish 21 items because I was counting 2 concealers as one item, but I'm gonna call it a wash and just, go on to the next items. Let me show you super fast the item that I did not finish up, and it is the MAC Fluid Line in Catch My Eye. I tried my hardest, but at the beginning of my project pan, I just wasn't using this for probably the first 2 or 3 weeks because, I figured I had 3 months, it would be all right, but it wasn't. So that is all that I have left in there, and if you checked out my last update, you could see me compare this fluid line and my progress at that point to a pretty much, it was a pretty full fluid line. So that is what I have left in there. Catch My Eye is sort of a taupey gray shade with some really gorgeous kind of golden shimmers running through it. That is a swatch of it right there. I think it is just absolutely stunning, and I'm actually kind of happy that I didn't finish this up because I really enjoy using this as just a shadow all over the lid. I don't really like putting shadows over the top of this just because I can't really see the gold shimmer that's in it. So when I'm done panning the Lorac Pro palette, I can use this all on its own and I will be a happy camper. So I am perfectly fine with calling this the finale video. Let me run through super fast and show you all of the items that I've finished up so you have a little refresher so you can see what the $354.75 was on. So this first item, this is the La Mercier Foundation Primer, and this is the Protect version. So this is the primer that's more of just a sort of a lotion consistency. I really liked this, but I actually prefer the Radiance version better. The Maybelline Instant Age Rewind Dark Circle Eraser, and this is in the shade Light. So it's alright. I'll probably end up repurchasing this again sometime in my life, but I'm gonna hold off for a little bit. Then next up are the 2 items that I was combining as one item, but let me show you super fast. This is the CoverGirl and Olay Concealer Balm, and this is in the shade Fair Light. So that is what this guy looks like. I actually dug out some of the product on the inside there, so I really liked this. I especially liked it underneath the eyes, and it was great for brightening, so loved that. And then the other item was the Benefit Fake Up Deluxe Size Sample, and this was in the shade 01, which is light, and I also dug out some of the product in here on the inside of the tube, so there's that one. I have the Revlon Photo Ready. This is in 02 Vanilla, and I actually opened this up. I used a butter knife, in case you're wondering. You just get a butter knife, you kind of pry it into the edge there underneath this black lip, and you just push it up and it pops right off. So I cleaned that out. I used every last drop that I could get out of here, and again, this looks pretty consistent for my progress on this foundation too. I don't dislike this foundation, but it's not my, it's not in my top 10 favorite foundations or anything. Next up was the MAC Studio Fix Powder Foundation, and this is in the shade NW18. It looks like this. Sometimes you can find these at CCOs, but that is the inside of the pan right there. This was an okay powder for me. I definitely think that this should be used as a powder foundation and not as a setting powder, or sheer it out with an incredibly light hand. So there's that guy. I have the Maybelline Dream Bouncy Blush. This is in the shade 45, which is Orchid Hush. I despised this product. When I initially purchased this, I actually really liked it. I thought the consistency of it was really cool. It was really squishy. It was like Play-Doh. It wasn't a regular cream blush or anything. It was definitely a weird consistency. It was a very light pink. I had trouble having it show up on my cheeks, so I am so happy that this is gone. And I actually had to end up using this as an eyeshadow base, so will never buy another one of those again. I am so happy that I actually finished it up. Next up is the NARS Deluxe Size Sample of the Laguna Bronzer. I love this thing. This little deluxe size sample right here is what spurred my whole love affair with the NARS Laguna Bronzer. Love this stuff, and these little deluxe size samples are pretty quick to finish up. So if you have one in your collection and you want a pan of bronzer, definitely try that one out. Next up is one of my favorite items. This is the Sephora Retractable Eyeliner, and it is a waterproof liner, and this is in 01 Matte Black. So on one part of it, it's a smudgy brush. You pull the whole thing out, and it's a sharpener. I thought that I had actually broken it when I pulled too hard on the end, but this thing is fantastic. It stays in my waterline all day long. I can tight line so easy with this. They are $13 from Sephora, so pretty good deal in my opinion for a higher end eyeliner. Next up was the MAC eyeshadow in rice paper. This was one of the very first MAC eyeshadows that I ever purchased. Cleaned it out, loved it. I was using this as a lid shade. This was more of a sort of a creamy yellow sort of color, so I would just run this all over the lid every single day. So that one didn't take too long to finish up. Then I got into the lip products, and the first one, this is a MAC Sheen Supreme in the shade Pret A Pretty. And if you're familiar with the MAC lipsticks that are in the Sheen Supreme line, they're more like a Revlon lip butter sort of a formulation. They're very shiny, they're very soft. It was a very light, sort of a peachy nude kind of shade, so there's that one. I can throw this in my Back to MAC bag. I also have the NARS Velvet Matte Lip Pencil in Sex Machine, and that is all that's left. So when I first started this project, I absolutely despised this lip product, but once I actually started using it on a regular basis, I kind of liked it. And I was mixing this Velvet Matte Lip Pencil with this next lipstick here. This is the MAC Luster lipstick in the shade Naturally Eccentric, and this came out of the Surf Baby collection, so these two were quite a lovely pair. This was just a smidgen too dark for me to wear on its own, but this, on the lips, this lipstick almost looked white, so it definitely lightened the NARS lipstick up just a little bit. There's that one. And then I had 3 lip glosses. This first one, this is the Jordana LOL Lip Out Loud lip gloss, and I believe, I think this is in ASAP. That's the shade name. And it was just a very light, creamy pink sort of a shade. And I took the stopper out of this, got every last little drop out of there that is physically possible to get out. I have a video where I show you how to take the stopper out of a lip gloss, so I will go ahead and link that down in the description box down below. But I thought this was a pretty decent lip gloss, and it didn't take too long to finish up. Then I had two Buxom lip glosses. This one's really skinny and tall, and this one's short and fat, but they actually had the same amount of product in both of them. And a little side note, if you ever see the sets of Buxom glosses, and they have like 5 or 6 different glosses, and they're just the little minis, two of the minis actually has the same amount of product as a full-size Buxom lip gloss. So it's an extremely good deal when you can find those sets. This first one, this was in the shade Dolly. I wasn't really a big fan of this shade to begin with, but the more that I used it, the more I loved it, and I actually really like this shade. And then the other one was the Buxom full-bodied lip gloss. This was in the shade Pucker Up. Now the full-bodied lip glosses, they don't have the same tingly sort of burning sensation that the other Buxom glosses do, so if you're not a fan of that, definitely try one of these. But this was just a really gorgeous bright purple shade. Then I had a Body Drench Candylicious Lemon Drop Moisturizing Lip Balm. Love this thing. If you can find these, I highly recommend picking one up. This actually, oh, it smells so good. This actually smells like those little lemon drop candies. Hands down, one of my favorite lip balms I've ever used in my entire life. And then I had the Clinique Happy Roller Ball. I actually found out an awesome tip from one of you guys that the Clinique Happy Roller Ball, and I think the majority of other roller balls, you can actually do this too, but you can take the cap, like the sleeve off of the Clinique Happy, and pop this section out right up here and refill this up with other perfumes. You can take it in your purse or something. But I finished this guy up pretty early on. I was happy about that. I like the Clinique Happy scent, but it's definitely a seasonal scent for me. I really like to wear this in the fall. And then the last and final item was my Viktor & Rolf Flower Bomb perfume that my husband purchased for me. I love this perfume so much. It definitely is quite sentimental to me. So anyway, that is it. That is my Project 20 pan. I'm definitely going to take a couple days before I start on another project pan, but I'm planning to put up a video on my beauty resolutions for 2015, as well as my plans for future project pans for this year and no buys, stuff along that line. So keep a lookout for that, and that's all I have. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!